Alright, Middle-earth strategy, Bella Gamers. I am here with a painting update slash army evolution of painting, I guess I could say, that I promised you guys in the Ministereth Warriors unboxing. And it's just it's always fun for me to go back and look at my models and look and see how different they are and what they looked like then and what they look like now. So let me give you a little bit of background about my Ministereth. So they were the first army I bought. They were the first army I bought. The first time I played back in 2007, 2008. One of those years. I think it was early 2008. And I bought the Ministereth Warriors, and I was okay. I need to paint them and do some painting. I guess I never painted before, so I went and bought some paint brushes and paints at Walmart, and I think it was like canvas paints. So it turned out terrible. So a couple years later, when we had, I don't know, kind of revisited the hobby with some friends, I was like, yeah, I need to work on my guys. I need to work on my painting. I'm a little bit better painter now, and that's where these guys right here came from. So I stripped all my Ministereth Warriors, and came up with this. And trust me, even though they don't look great, they look better than they did. They look better than they did. They looked awful before. I don't even think I painted flesh on the face before. I think I just painted a little bit of armor and a little bit of the cloth. It was pretty bad. Pretty bad. Here's a Sigil Guard, and they don't look terrible for kind of my first you could tell there the highlights a little bit sloppy, just a little bit sloppy. Here's a warrior that I repainted. So those are the guys I painted, and after. Here's a spearman, another spearman. Yeah, so after Nova of 2016, I really wanted to revisit Gondor, and I was reinvigorated and happy to take Gondor out and really wanted to revisit and paint them. So, once again, I stripped the Ministereth Warriors and came up with this color scheme. This is the color scheme that I came up with. I really wanted to make the army my own, and I think they turned out pretty good. I mean, there is some detail lost, I have to say, with the stripping process, but ultimately I think they look, they're an improvement. They're an improvement than before. Here's a Gilead Veteran. The Gilead Veterans look good because they were not stripped before, so there's plenty of detail there to look at and see, and they're really cool underutilized models in my opinion. They have some nice detail, and that was kind of where my love for the blue came in for the Gondor. I wanted to make them my own, have my own color scheme for them, and I think ultimately they look pretty good. Here's a knight. The knights were not stripped, so they have plenty of detail. So that was then, and I wanted to use more Ministereth Warriors in my collection, and so I was like, I'm just gonna buy some more and have them be kind of where take all my years of painting experience and so here are the updated and I guess newly painted Ministereth Warriors that I bought. I've painted about half of the sword and spear and sword guys that I had gotten, and the other half are base coated right now. So this is my Ministereth Warriors. Here, I would like to, and I think this is definitely up to date. This is my best paint job. This is the work that I put on the dwarves. This is the work that the dwarves and the elves, this is that hard work paying off with this beautiful look. So I painted the shields blue. And I wanted to paint the back of the shields brown because I'd have a feeling that the back of the shield would be an exposed wood. And the gloves are brown. This guy has brown hair, which I was able to capture, and a lot of this is just a lot of hard work and practice and whatnot. And the highlights on the blue look good. I'm not basing them. I do plan on putting them on scenic bases like with the others. And these guys really pop. I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I painted his nose guard and part of it and a stripe up here. You can't really tell this guy bronze to kind of give him something special. I'm gonna see if I can capture that. You kind of tell. It's a really subtle thing. And one of the things that one reason I did that is because sometimes just having subtle colors in there like that really help the model. And I think that it really helps these models. I mean, it pops. It adds something nice. And that's one reason I painted the white stripe on the tunic on these guys, because I just feel like it adds something special to the model. And it was kind of one of those things like the Dwarven army. I was like, I looked at my dwarves, I was like, I wish I could get my Gondor to look like this. I was like, you know what? With a little bit of practice, patience, and expenditures, you can. And so I did. I wanted to have a core of Ministereth Warriors that looked as good as my dwarves, and that's my ambition and goal. Every time you see an army at Nova or you go to Nova, you get invigorated to kind of work on your own projects. And that's how I went from these guys to these guys, and from these guys to these guys. So be looking for a battle report soon with the Ministereth, the newly painted Ministereth, and the newly updated rules of the Ministereth in a battle report. We do plan on having them face off against their ancient foe in Mordor. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment below. Happy war gaming, and enjoy and support your Middle Earth hobby.